Well, Chris, I know this is going to be a really hard interview, especially after the amount of events that happened in that game. Let's start at the beginning, the red card. Jimmy Torre sent off for an off-the-ball incident. It was tough for us in the press box to see it, but if it's a kick, I mean, that kills you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't excuse it. It's unacceptable. From a player that's looked bright and looked like he could give us something. So it's going to cost him 3 games and it's going to cost him a fair bit of money. It's unacceptable, and he's let all his teammates down today.
And is that something you're going to sort of do internally? You're going to deal with it and fine him for the offence?
Absolutely, I've got no choice. We need him on the field to play, and it's just one moment of madness, a bit of ill discipline, and we spoke about it before the game. Going to be a lot of fans here. You've got to keep your cool, keep your composure, and he hasn't. He's done something that's, as I say, it's unforgivable for the rest of the players, and that'll be dealt with.
And that's 75 minutes you had to play with 10 men. That's hard on any players, isn't it? But even more so with a small squad in a game on Tuesday. Yeah,
that's right. They gave absolutely everything, the players, there's no doubt about that. They kept going to the end, tried to change it 3 or 4 times just to, with personnel and with shapes, just to try and get us a chance. We had a couple of half chances and scored a valid goal in my opinion, but the officials probably got one right. If he did kick out, this is a definite red, and I can't accept that as a manager, because that's us to manage our players and make sure discipline's right, which in the main it has been. But the disallowed goal is guesswork, and that is also totally unacceptable. Perfectly valid goal, and they've disallowed it because it's a home game and the fans and the keeper's gone down. So again, shocking decision.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because the timing of it as well. It was a lovely corner, wasn't it, from Lawson, headed home by Josh Shaunton. I don't think anyone expected it to be disallowed.
No. I mean that physicality's gone out of the game, hasn't it? You have to be physical at corners. You've got to use your arms to elevate yourself to jump off the ground. And like I say, as soon as the keeper goes to the ground, probably in any level at the minute, it's a whistle, but it's a guess whistle in my opinion. So I'm displeased with that, to say the least. But I can't change it, and I've moaned about this standard in a few games, not every game, because I know it's tough, and there's no point in me making excuses about officials. It's our job to do better on a field of play, but the odd decision would help.
And straight after that, less than a minute, they score. I imagine you'll be disappointed with not only the free header but the build-up where he chested it down. Yeah,
it's basics, isn't it? Stop the cross. I can only put players out there and say, this is your job, man for man, stop the cross, and then pick up in the box, and both weren't done. So yeah, we've discussed that as well. What we've got to do is we've got to try and get the strongest possible team we can out there on Tuesday, because that's a massive game.
In the second half, you did push, you put a lot of effort into that performance. You had a couple of chances, couple of set pieces. Were you disappointed with the accuracy of some of those? Yeah, just a bit of lack of belief on the set piece, hitting walls and not delivering properly. Spent a fair bit of time on set pieces, so it's difficult to see that when it's not carried out, but it's different on the training ground, isn't it? You've got to deliver on the pitch, and that's what I need more of. I need more men on that pitch. We have got a young squad, and we looked it today at times. I'm trying to change it and trying to do things to try and affect it, and I think with 11 men we're very competitive in that game today, and that's the real killer, because I think if we keep our discipline and Jimmy stays on the field, I've got every chance of winning that game. And you brought on your young players, didn't you? And they did have a bit of an impact. You pushed Ben Richards' Everton up front, it looked like, and it just looked desperate, didn't it?
Well, it is, isn't it? Because we want to still try and get a goal. I'd rather play 3 at the back and 3 in midfield and 3 up front and concede another, but to try and get a goal, and that's what we did. Sam Pearson was struggling with his calf, stretching him off, so he had to come off. Charlie was struggling as well, so I had to make changes. So yeah, tough one to take today, I've got to be honest. But there's one thing for sure in football: you've got to deal with it, and you've got to move on, because it's happened. And whoever gets the shirt on Tuesday, I need as many men on that pitch as possible. I need people to step up and be counted, because I don't want to be where we are, and that's an understatement. Last 2 performances have been excellent. We were going into this super confident today, and one moment of madness from a player that's been doing well has cost us. It's cost all the fans that have come and travelled and spent money, who I feel for, and I said that to the players before the game and after the game and during the game, because I have family going to games, and I know it costs money, and I know what they do, and they travel, and it hurts like hell, and I want everyone to want it as badly as I do. So we'll have a chat about it tomorrow, and then train Monday, and we've got to approach that game on Tuesday knowing how important it is.
Yeah, because you don't need me to tell you, 1 win in 11. I guess the fans are going to be asking, can those players and can you turn it around?
Well, I think so. I knew it was going to be a tough job, and it is for anybody. But I believe we've got that determination to do it. We've been trying to look at additions to strengthen, which is ongoing. But there are players in that changing room that are good enough to do it. We've shown that in the last couple of games. We haven't got the result, but we've been better than the teams we've played. And the teams we've played are outfits with huge budgets, but we've shown we are better for long periods. So that side of it doesn't worry me, but you've got to win football matches. I can't really go into it too much today on the performance side of it, because we're playing with 10 men for 75 minutes. So it's hard for me to come out and speak logically because of the madness of that moment from Jimmy. As I say, that'll be dealt with. I'm not happy with that at all, and it changed the complexion of the game completely.
Is it fair to say Dorking on Tuesday is a must-win?
Well, I've said that to the players, but every game's a must-win. As far as I'm concerned, we don't go into every game not trying to win it. We go into every game trying to win it, and that won't change on Tuesday.
And looking ahead to that game, you're going to have some selection issues, I imagine, with bodies. You said you wanted to get some players in, but that's a bit short notice to get them in now, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's seeing who's available and who's fit. Obviously, losing Jamie before today didn't help before the game. That decision was made sort of 9 o'clock this morning, so you do have to shuffle the pack a little bit, and we'll see if he's fit for Tuesday, and then we'll dust ourselves down, see how the players are, because they've played 75 minutes without a teammate, and so I'm sure there'll be some sore bodies, but the players are aware of the importance of the game.
And it's a lot of travelling, isn't it? You've got to go back to Yeovil and back to Dorking.
Yeah.
It's not the ideal time for a player to not be available.
No, it's not. It's moments like that in football that make coaches and managers furious. I'm the first person to say it. As a player, you've got to keep that composure all the time. And the disappointing thing is that Jimmy's, one of our real attacking threats, and that's the killer for him as well, because it costs him money, it costs him his place in the team, because he'll be suspended. So yeah, the officials will have to have a look at it. I didn't see it at the time. I was unsighted at the time, but I've been told he did kick out, so that's it's a definite red. You can't do that. But the other second most important decision today was unacceptable also, which was a valid goal, and that gets you a point on the road, which would have been a big point.
Well, thanks for your time and your honesty, Chris.